Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Tumblestone. Labelled as the first original action puzzler of the past 15 years, on that alone I was quite eager to give this a good look. Developed by the Quantum Astrophysicist Guild and released in June 2016. I received this in a humble bundle last month, and so far I've put in just about an hour of gameplay. As someone who is terrible with the puzzle genre, I have not really gotten far. Not far at all. I have to say though that even for me it has become a bit addictive. The idea is to clear all of the tumblestones, which is the name given to the blocks with faces on, and you must remove them all from the entire grid. It's a case of match 3 and they vanish. You pick blocks from front to back to clear it, so you can't just take blocks from just anywhere to do so. There's a system in place and it's quite cleverly done. I certainly have never played a match-free puzzle game like this one before anyway. Now to talk a little bit about the control system. You have 4 choices, and I must say that's quite impressive. The first, and what I find personally the easiest, is the mouse usage. Just click on each block and watch them vanish. I will say though that sometimes I click and for some reason nothing happens. I have to basically nudge the mouse and it starts working again, which is very odd. Secondly, we have the keyboard, which works just fine for the purpose it needs to fulfill. Thirdly is the good old 360 pad, and again it functions perfectly. I encountered no problems with it whatsoever. The fourth, however, I can sadly not test, but it claims to work on a touchscreen, similar I guess to a tablet or some laptops. I can see this being the fastest way to play, but I cannot rightly say if it works well without testing it myself. The first few puzzles are very simple. It starts to really ramp up when you hit the 10th one in story mode and you're battling against, well, time. It's not too challenging, but you will notice you make more mistakes. Or at least I did, and even failed the first time-based mission on my first attempt, which is no real surprise there really in my case. From what I've seen so far, the game works well in short bursts. It's not something that you can be entertained for with long periods of time, at least not for me anyway. If I fancy a quick blast on a puzzle game, and believe me that is pretty rare for me, I can see this game being one I could quickly boot up and maybe burn 30 minutes on before returning to something else. As you can see so far, the art style is, well, kind of cute. The characters I have seen so far seem to follow a general style, however it does feel a little bit cheap really, more so with the lack of animations. The rest of the game does feel pretty well done though, and overall the game does feel like it is simple to play. It's not at all complicated, which I personally find quite appealing in a puzzle game. Complex puzzle games and I just, well, we don't get along. I don't have the time for them. I would rather shoot someone in the face on Overwatch or play a good strategy game. So for a puzzle to stand out to me and not make me hate it, is pretty good going. Overall, this is a very clever match-free game that doesn't have an insane learning curve like some of the others in the genre do. It's actually quite a charming little game. I say little game, but the price tag on this one doesn't reflect it. No sir, it does not. Having picked this up from Humble, and then checking out the Steam store, I expected to see a basic indie title with a price tag of like a $5 or something. And keep in mind, the game is a year old now too. Then I spotted the price tag, of which it boasts of, well, $18.99. What on earth they were thinking when they put this price tag on, I really don't know. Now, I like this game. I actually really do. But for that price tag, I would have simply passed it on by on Steam if it appeared in my discovery queue for a couple of reasons. The fact it's a puzzler is a turn off for me usually anyway, so there's your first reason. But the fact it's asking for that price when it's an indie game, and it's not even that much of a great indie game, what on earth were they thinking here? You can find better games out there for half the price of this one. From my personal experience, PC gamers don't usually have little quick bursts of time to burn out on a game. They will either sit there for long periods of time and play a game which they're already heavily invested in, or they simply don't bother. It's not often you will boot up a game and play it for 15 minutes because you're waiting for, well, something else to do somewhere on a PC. It's just not the done thing. This game would fit more ideally in a mobile gaming market where people on public transport can boot it up and have a quick go. There is just no standing life cycle I can see for this game. As charming as the art style is, and as lovely as the soundtrack is most of the time, it simply doesn't keep the user engaged enough for longer than 15 to 30 minutes at a time. When the devs can boast it has a 40 plus hour story mode in it, you do have to think to yourself, okay, but who would bother to go for that far in what is basically a throwaway game? The marketing behind this game seems completely wrong, the pricing is completely wrong, and it's a gigantic shame because it is a good game in its own right. But to claim to be one of the best puzzlers in the last 15 years? No. I can honestly say no. Something else that has bothered me about this title is the fact that you can gift a free version to friends in-game. You generate a key, hand it over to them, and you play a bit of multiplayer with them. It sounds great, right? Well, there's a snag. You can play 5 games with them, and that's it. It's hardly the premise to make a good impression on, really, in my honest opinion. So, there we have it. Tumblestone. Not worth that price tag, but if you do enjoy puzzlers and it's on sale, it's worth a look in for sure. Like I said, I have enjoyed it so far, but then again, I got it via Humble Bundle. It's not like I really paid just for that particular game. Links to the dev's website and Steam page are in the description for you to check out if you wish. And I'll see you again next time. Maybe for something, well, not puzzle based.